Hi, I'm here with Mandy Freeland, and I met her online, I believe, through Twitter, and then at the housing forum that was put on by AIA California in Newport Beach, California this past March, I guess it was. Hi, Mandy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. Would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Mandy Freeland, and I live in Bakersfield, California. I am a firm owner, a woman firm owner, of my own practice here, and I started it in 2015, which was, I think I started it 2 months after I got my license.
Uh-huh.
So that was exciting for me to just kind of jump ship and do it on my own and learn as I go. So I've been doing it for about 4 years now,
Hmm.
and everything's green lights, everything's great.
Good to hear. So what are your what are your first recollections of experiencing architecture?
I moved around a lot when I was a child. I'm originally from Idaho, in the farmlands, and we moved to California when I was in kindergarten, and I lived in Southern California in a few different towns, and then Central California, and then moved to the Valley. So I feel like adapting to different environments and in different cultures, culturally, um, different houses. Sometimes we had more money, sometimes we had less money growing up. So just the diversity of my childhood really introduced me to how architecture can impact a person, and
Hmm.
how socioeconomics and demographics are really impacted by the places they live and the communities that they're in. So that inspired me more than the actual architecture itself.
Hmm.
And then, sort of working through, when I was going through school, I chose to go into architecture. I wanted a way to use my art um, in a real way, and use math and science and everything that I learned in
Uh-huh.
a real way that would help people. And I knew that architecture would be that avenue for me.
Mhm.
So I went into architecture to use my art and to create places that could help people. So if that makes any sense,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
think that those are people's first, your first experience of architecture typically, right? You're the place where you live. Maybe you've lived in like this, uh, some people grew up in Paris, but certainly, certainly
Right.
certainly not a lot of us that are living in the United States, like haven't grown up in Paris. Yeah, so it's typically, the first, I can remember my first house. I can't really remember. We lived in an apartment when my parents first got married, and then we moved to a house. They bought a house. And of course, this is in Pittsburgh, where it's, in Dormont. And it was a very, very dense community. So we lived in a house there, and then we've lived in houses, ever since then, because you can buy a house. You still can. It's slightly more. Actually, I'm surprised at how expensive it is at the area that I came from. It's just kind of, the market kind of has been going up, where I'm like really surprised. I think people are moving back to denser environments,
Hmm.
and that are closer to their workplace, like in the city. So they're moving back into these neighborhoods because they don't want a long commute anymore. But yeah. Yeah, but just
Yeah.
things, the way that your house is set up, or the way that light came into your house, and that's probably a pretty good study right there, research study right there. So
Yeah.
what was your undergrad in?
I went to school. Well, I went to school for architecture to a junior college and got
Oh,
my
wow.
associate's degree there.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I went to Cal State Bakersfield, and I got my bachelor's degree in communications and public relations.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I did that because I wanted Well, because I like to talk. And I feel communication is an asset to what we do and how we do what we do. So I actually was working in architecture for a firm before I chose to not finish and transfer at an architecture school. I chose to change my direction a little bit.
Yeah.
And do it in communications and PR so that I could make an impact and change the way that we worked and the way that our industry works and the way our profession works, and to really pull that in. And the skills that I have are more communication skills and, of course, art skills, math skills, everything that it takes to be an architect. But I think that what we can benefit from as a profession is learning the skills of communication a little bit better, and sort of that customer service and relating to our clients and being open and forward thinking, planning ahead, and marketing ourselves. I see that architects are slow to market themselves, just sort of too busy working in the billable hours and not busy enough promoting themselves or what they're doing or doing outreach in the community. Like, there's just not enough time. So I feel like if I can do it and figure out how to do it, then I can share how I do it to other people, and maybe they can do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I mean, I think all of those skills are really good, or even communicating to other people besides other architects, right? Because you're typically not going to be trying to sell your skill. To try to get a project with another architect, you're typically trying to get it with someone who is not in the architecture field. So yeah, those are always those are always good skills. There's actually a woman in San Diego. She just did I didn't realize that. She's like, oh yeah, I'm not licensed. I never got my license, but she does business development. She has an architecture degree and does business development for one of the firms down here. And she started it when there were only like 3 people working there. And she was kind of the business development person. And I didn't realize that until I talked to her, a few months ago, like how long she had been there. I didn't realize that she had been there at that firm since it was 3 people. So really, she's built up the firm and made it what it is 10 years later.
It takes a lot of work to do the business side and business development and marketing. It does take a lot of work. So I'm learning that as a new business owner, how much time I have to set aside to do the billable hours and how much time I really need to put into everything else that goes into it. And with my background in communications, I know what it takes. It takes constant, and now that we've got social media, constant attention to social media and trends and what's going on in your own communities and how, the outreach efforts and everything. You have to really pay attention to everything all the time. Yeah. No, it really does. It really does take, and I mean, it's funny because, if I have like my billable hours or whatever, and then people, and if I'm showing them, proposals to the clients, they're looking at how much time it takes, and they're like, oh my gosh, she's making this much. And it's like, no. When you're working for yourself, it's like, who am I going to bill out, my hourly as far as my marketing? It's like, I can't bill a client or anyone else for that marketing. That's time that I just have to spend investing in the firm, that is not noticeably paid for immediately. Right.
So we kind of had talked about this question. So which 3 classic buildings do you like and why? And you can say it whatever way. I know. Why don't you tell me what you want to say or one classic building? Or
so if I just took a step back and talking about where I came from and where my childhood was, I lived in the Central Coast, and one of the first places that we visited with family family from out of town, we went to Hearst Castle.
Yeah.
And that saw the grandeur of a place where the Hollywood elite came and had their fun, weekends.
Yeah.
And so the painted tiles and the everything, the classic elements that were integrated into it. And then learning after, when I was a little bit older, that Julia Morgan did it and engineered it. And I had no idea that, well, I don't know if very many people still knew that it was a woman that did it. And her work in California, just her impact and how it's such a such a quiet thing here, that her work is iconic. I mean, her castle is iconic for the Central Coast for us. But
yeah,
if more people knew it was a woman, I think maybe more people would be impressed, maybe, that it was,
Yeah, I mean, even Northern and Southern California, I mean, she did work all over, and it's just amazing. And now, I mean, I had said this to Britt in the last one, that as far as, with the California education requirements, as far as the standards, they have to know about architecture, and the architect that they're supposed to know about is Julia Morgan. Yeah, and I thought that was great, because I was like, oh my gosh, like Julia Morgan, they like, but just, and I mean, she's, because we've got, she has work all over, and plus, right, she worked for this great, she worked for this family where she was just able to do a lot of like really wonderful buildings with them, continue, I mean, repeat client that, and her work, is just everywhere, and really, and really wonderful. And I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, and not everything is the scale of Hearst Castle, but it's also, the scale of Asilomar. I mean, yes, I mean, I absolutely, I adore Asilomar, but, but yeah, that, and then also she, we actually stayed after we got married, I guess that's like your honeymoon night, or what is it called? Anyway, she designed apartments that are on 3rd Street in Santa Monica, and now it's a hotel. And it was a hotel like several, a long time ago. I mean, almost 30 years ago, it was a hotel, and they've recently restored it. But I mean, it's just, I mean, it's a great apartment, but just the scale. I mean, I think she has a really good sense of scale, and like, so and the individual kind of spaces, like the breakdown of like a large building that has a lot of different rooms, but all of the rooms can be unique. And so I think that, yeah. Well, see, that's a good classic building.
Yeah, that's one from my childhood for sure. And then anything in the industrial era in the late 1800s, just everything in that time period when innovation and industrialization was really coming to a peak, and they were pushing boundaries and stuff. And in Chicago, the Burnham and Root buildings, and how they pushed and made mistakes and learned from their mistakes, and created the real viable high rises. But they also created a lot of ones that fell or that didn't actually work, but learning from it and learning how to create buildings on unstable soil, right? Because Chicago's like mud. There's nothing really to stick the buildings onto, right? But they figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
That impresses me. That just impresses me.
Yeah.
The steel and just how it all worked together at the same time in that time period. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think that those are just really wonderful things. Yeah. Okay, so what do you like about being an architect?
So I get this question a lot, and it's hard to define that one. I like everything. I like waking up. I know. I like it all.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing every single day. That I get to help solve puzzles or come up with solutions in different ways. I also love that. So I do a lot of commercial work, and I have a long history of doing projects for sort of every different kind of client that there is. It's sort of everything. Doctors, nuns, nightclub owners, like a very diverse group of clients that I've had a history with. So, but for me, learning about them and their business or their lifestyle or stepping into their shoes for the duration of the project is so intriguing to me, and asking and getting access into their manufacturing processes or whatever it is that they're doing, but getting access into it, asking the questions and kind of getting like a pass into like a bank, you know, like, how do you keep your vault safe? Let's learn a little more and see if we can improve it. Like things like you get to step into someone else's shoes for a year or 2 years and help them create a new building for themselves.
Yeah.
So that is so, what other job can say that they do that? Besides an actor, actors do that, but you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to, actors do, but you know, but the thing is that, right, they're in different roles, but but they're being filmed the whole time. But
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what other, like an accountant can't. I mean, an accountant. You
no, I know, and I know. And I think that we always, I think, I mean, every single architect that I know, and I like make a joke about it too, like as far as like as accounting, right? And I don't know whether it's because it's like close on, right? You've got architecture and then accounting is like before that. So you know, when we used to look in the catalog, right? Then people, you know, people be like, oh, why don't you go back to the catalog? You know, it's like you stopped at architecture. Maybe you should like explore the other thing. And it's like, oh, well, accounting is, you know, and I know people are always kind of like kidding around about accounting, and there's nothing wrong with accounting. It's a very important field, you know.
No, it is, yeah.
But as far as, you know, I mean, I just don't have I don't have the head for all the numbers, but yeah, I mean, I think it's I think it's a, you know, architecture is an attractive field. I think that it's, you know, there's a broad range of different, you know, skills and, you know, other things that you can do with architecture also. So I'm interested, what did you do for nuns?
Oh, so we have a convent in the mountains of Tehachapi.
Oh my gosh.
I can't remember the name of the order, and I'm very sorry, Mother, for forgetting the name of your order. But they are self-sufficient in that they have their own animals. They don't eat the animals, but they use the milk from like the goats, and they make cheese and they sell cheese. So they have like a artisan cheese making facility. So their convent was in a ranch house up in the mountains, and it's right by a lake, a little lake. And so their water source is their lake. Their business was growing, so they needed a new cheese making facility. So we did a new basement, ground floor, and second floor for them, in addition to the house that they already had. So the house that they already had became a sanctuary for anyone else in the church that needed to get away from their church and take a break, like a sabbatical, or I'm not sure of the Catholic terminology, but where the priests take a break from what they're doing and get back in touch with their religion. So anyway, the nuns needed a new cheese making facility. So it was more of a commercial kitchen kind of a thing, where we had, you know, cold storage in the bottom, and but the interesting thing was on the top floor we had their dorms. The place where they live was very sparse. Yeah. So no doors in their rooms. No. So a lot of it, like residential codes, we had to like really talk to the local building department and say, this is how they live and this is their religion, and we want to make sure that we respect that. So just let it go. Just
Uh-huh.
let us do what we're doing. So they have a bed, a mattress, a small closet for their clothes, and that's it. And and there's 2 beds in each little dorm room.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and they have shared restrooms, shared showers,
Mm-hmm.
every. So they make their own soaps, they make their own food, everything. They're very self-sufficient. I mean, that's what they do, is they're self-sufficient. That's all they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, they've got a little money-making business there of making these
Mm-hmm.
cheeses. So every time we met, they would bring the cheese down, and I would have lots of these wonderful cheeses during our meetings. So it was really lovely. It was really
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah. No, no. I mean, we went to have you ever been to Nuclear Voe Winery?
Uh-uh.
They're a monastery, and they have wine, and they have, so all of the wine that you drink is blessed. So, but
Oh,
in the tasting room, the monks will be serving you, and I mean, they'll tell you kind of their stories about just their whole story of how they came to be there, and you can like look, and I mean, they're beautiful facilities, everything. I think they need more cheese. They need cheese from the nuns, because there's,
there was there.
there's not enough to eat there. Yeah, but there is. But I find, there's just something so pure and simple about that lifestyle, which, and it's just interesting. So do you have to have a door on the dorm? Is it a requirement that we have doors on the dormitories and things? I mean, is that a building code requirement, or just,
Um,
is it a fire
our
requirement, or?
our building department. So I don't want to say anything too negative about
Yeah, yeah.
people in our building department. They weren't familiar with this situation enough to do the plan review right.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know how nice a way of saying it.
Yeah,
They wanted to add things that you would normally see in hotels or multifamily, anything
okay.
multifamily. Lots
Yeah,
of people housed it in one place. So
yeah.
privacy and all this stuff was what they were concerned with. And so there was a lot of, we actually had the mother, the head nun, come
Mm-hmm.
in and talk to the building department.
Yeah.
And she has a very strong French accent, but she was very firm with them, and she made her point. Yeah, it was good.
That's fascinating. That's a great story. That's a great story. Okay, so what would you like to say about the future of architecture?
Um, I'm really excited about the future of architecture. I'm excited about the future of the profession. I'm excited about architecture itself and the technology that we're seeing. One thing that excites me, I love sci-fi movies,
Oh,
and seeing like structures come to life, like Zaha Hadid's work come to life, the things that we see in these science fiction movies, we're like, wow, it's really being built. That's so cool. And the way that transportation is going to evolve, and how architecture is going to have to adapt around. Not very long, there could be no need for roads anymore, right?
mhm.
Or different transportation methods with the rapid rate of technological innovation. So adapting and seeing how the 3D printing processes are creating buildings like overnight, and reducing labor costs, but creating something small scale that is
Mhm.
a building. That's it might take the architect out of it, which isn't good for our profession, but it's technologically things are getting done and advancing with us or without us.
Yeah,
So I mean, as far as our profession, we should be eager to grab onto that and to be a part of that conversation.
yeah. Yeah, I don't think it'll so much take, I mean, because that's really the production side. I mean, I don't think it would really take out the architect. I mean, unless we refuse to, right, unless we refuse to like get on board, as far as, I mean, I mean, we have to do something about housing protection, right? I mean, there has to be some way that we can produce it, you know, faster, quicker, you know, easier. You know, we kind of knew, you know, went over a lot of those things, the housing forum, in brief, you know, in brief, like panels. But I think there's a lot. I mean, I like said this before, that there was this faucet by Kohler that they 3D printed, and it was like so thin, and the water was coming in. And I was like laughing, and I said, you know, it's like, gosh, I mean, if you can do things with like, you know, less material, then why wouldn't you do it with less material? You know, I mean, yeah, yeah. Uh,
But I think that leaves the door open for us to be so much more creative.
yeah.
Instead
No,
of
exactly.
so
Yeah.
technical. If our software and our programs are, say like our BIM software, is including everything that would properly waterproof a building innately in the program, then we can focus more time on making the building, you know, fun to be in.
Yeah. 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 We
Of
have
how
less
we keep the water
notes
out.
on our drawings. If we didn't have to put so many notes on our drawings, you know, I mean, I've like said, like, oh my gosh, it's like how it used to be, you know, a set of drawings, you're gonna do 5 sheets, and you know, somebody would be able to build it. And now it's like 5 sheets would be nothing, because you've got like 5 to 10 sheets of just written notes, right?
I know.
Which of course the contractor never reads anyway. So,
Yeah.
or we have a guy that's here at the building department, you know, right? Because I'm trying to get a building permit in my own jurisdiction, and which I don't think is going to be a real hard job. But the one plan checker says that he wants to try to make everything, it, so to work for like the least. I'll put the least skilled contractor. Those aren't his words that he said, but I would say the least skilled contractor, you know, that's out there, and that everybody's plans to go do that. And I said, I don't use the least skilled contractor. You know, it's like, I'm not going to use, I wouldn't recommend to my client that they use the least skilled contractor, or the person that's going to, you know, that says that they're going to do it for the least amount of money. I wouldn't recommend that. You know, I mean, you know, it's like we're in residential, or, you know, privately funded things. Like, we don't have to, you know, we don't have to pick the lowest bid.
Yeah.
So would the bullet train be going to Bakersfield then?
Yes.
Well, okay, it will. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been a part of that conversation too the last 3 years. In our own downtown, we got funding to do downtown development plan, sort of. How are we gonna, so the high-speed rail station is gonna be downtown. The high-speed rail, the rail authority chose one location, and we thought, us locally thought that it should be a different location. So we got funding to do an alternate plan. And in that, we had enough money to put together a plan for developing our own downtown in a good and smart way, something that we sort of didn't have. SOM was hired to do it, and they did a fantastic job from LA. And so they went through the economics, they went through socio-demographics, they went through everything. They went through what's here, what's historic, what's not, what could be reused better, what where our brownfields are. We got that all in a study, and we got it all, and we implemented it to our city council last year. So now it's implemented. So now we have, so out of the whole high-speed rail stuff, we have a really good plan for our downtown for the next 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years. We've got so growth in specific areas, with a lot of emphasis on increasing our infrastructure, replacing and increasing the infrastructure. You know, we want to add more residential units in our downtown, so we would need larger sewer lines. We need to get all that done first, right? Or these specific areas will be the medical, sort of a medical specific area, and it's going to need housing for the doctors and the nurses and everything associated to it. just all of the stuff that we weren't able to do before because, towns don't really have the money to do that in-depth study. So that was really fun to be a part of that. So we are going to have the high-speed rail. It's still a go. I'm on some committees that are a part of it, and there might be a lot of talk in the news and politics and stuff, but it's still a go. So it's gonna, you can say it starts here or you can say it ends here, but it's gonna go to Modesto. So from here to Modesto in the valley, we'll have the first part of the high-speed rail, and then if there's funding and if the political climate is right later, then the plan was to extend it down to Los Angeles, and we were anticipating that. We wanted to be able to
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
In like 45 minutes, we're like, yeah, let's do that. Let's skip traffic, and then like let's bring the impacted LA people to our town, and it's a more family-friendly, city to live in. And we're not short on housing here. We've got plenty of housing.
Oh, that's good.
We've got lots of room here for growth. So we're like, let's bring them. Let's have them come here. So, I hope it goes to LA. But if it goes up to the top of the valley, that's okay for now.
Yeah.
What can you do? I don't have the money.
San Francisco. To San Francisco.
I know.
Yeah. But it's shorter to LA, right?
Oh yeah, it's like 120 miles to LA from our house. So
what were they going to do about the grapevine? Was it going to route it to the east then, or what?
They were going to go through the mountain.
Really? They were? Okay.
Yeah. That's actually, it's like we do have a train line that goes up. It's the Tehachapi Loop. It goes around in a circle.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we all thought the same thing. How are you going to do high-speed rail in a loop? Like, is there any other way to do it? And they were planning on going through the mountain.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right. They've been drilling it for years. They've been drilling mountains for years. Yeah, that'd be a long tunnel, but I'm sure,
But it would, so it was gonna go sort of where Tehachapi is. I don't know if you know where that is, but it was gonna go east of LA, like to the Lancaster, Palmdale area, and then swing in to LA from that side.
Yeah. What is it? Like it's not the 133. It is a one. I forget which one that is, but yeah. And then and then it would hook up to the metro, going inland or something.
It's supposed to go to Union Station.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd like to see it happen, right? At least in my lifetime. Gotta go.
I know. So there's rumors that Las Vegas is going to fund their own leg to Bakersfield. So they're going to fund their own track from Las Vegas to Bakersfield.
Oh, okay. The next time the AIA conference is there, it'll be easier. We'll just be driving to Bakersfield and then just
Yeah. That's great for us. We love Vegas.
Yes. Okay, so we met up, and this is I'm gonna put your interview in with kind of the women-centric blog that I'm gonna do about some of us meeting up from some of the women architecture groups at just some of the parties and things, and just kind of, so I'll be putting more about that, and I want to get people's photos from it,
okay.
and like firsthand recollection. So if you can just pass that on to everybody, we'll get some and then also moms in architecture and design, any of our groups that we're in.
Yeah. I'll definitely pass on the list.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mandy. Thank you so much, and I will see you, I'm sure, at another AIA California event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you very much.